Alright, good morning everyone. Today we'll be doing another Modern Cube draft. Now, we have a few options here that are quite enticing. The first one being Chromatic Lantern. We can have perfect mana off of a single artifact. I am tempted to take Ferocidon because there's not a lot of red in this pack, and honestly, just mono red's really fun for me to draft. It's probably not that fun to watch, though. There's also a Ravenous Chupacabra, and not a lot of black in this pack. That fits in the same deck anyway, so we could go for like the mono-black mid-range, though I feel like we played a deck that was very similar to that. So I'm going to try taking Chromatic Lantern and as much fixing as I can possibly find, and let's build like big Rainbow Walkers. That'd be fun, right? There's a Bloodstained Mire and a Wooded Foothills. I actually really want to take Gideon, though, because Gideon's such an amazing Planeswalker. There's also a Spark Double in this pack, which would be awesome if it came all the way around and we were in the like Rainbow Super Friends deck again. So yeah, Chromatic Lantern is a really good card. Basically saying all of your lands tap for any color of mana you want, and it itself taps for any color of mana you want. I want to take Niv-Mizzet, but Niv-Mizzet should, in theory, wheel and come all the way around the table, so I'm not going to take it right now. I do have to start picking lands that fix for basically any color, unless there's a card that we know we're going to cast. So like my options here are really Kolaghan's Command or Rootbound Crag. Kolaghan's Command, without fixing, is really difficult to cast with a double white card in our deck. However, if Niv-Mizzet wheels, it's a card that can get hit off of Niv-Mizzet. And there's a Rootbound Crag here. So we're going to take Kolaghan's Command. Alright, City of Brass. Definitely taking City of Brass. Oh, actually, there's a Dryad of the Elysian Grove, which is Chromatic Lantern number 2, but on a body. Also some ramp in Dryad here. So this is tough. We have a rainbow land, or we can have a green creature that makes our lands rainbow lands. Dryad's higher upside. There's also an Endatha Triome here. I think I have to take the Dryad. I don't want to, but I think I have to. Okay, Noble Hierarch is a fantastic card in this deck, as it itself taps for 3 colors of mana as well as accelerates us. Ketria Triome is also good, as it is a 3-color land, but it enters tapped. I think we're going to have a bit of green in this deck, so I'm going to take Noble Hierarch. Okay. More lands coming around that are fantastic. Deafening Clarion is not bad at all, but we're to the point now that we basically have to start taking lands. And I'm going to focus on shock lands over these other types first, even though, well, Stomping Ground's probably the best pick for us anyway, because we have a red card and we have green cards. So we'll take Stomping Ground. Alright, we have the option of Ajani Vengeant or Saheeli Rai. Ajani Vengeant is closer to the colors that I already know I'm going to be playing, and does just a little bit more than Saheeli Rai does, so I'm going to try taking Ajani Vengeant. Reflecting Pool is nice because we have all of our... theoretically, we'll have like at least 1 rainbow mana. We could take an Overgrown Tomb. Overgrown Tomb's not bad here either. And there's also Xenagos the Reveler. But we probably aren't going to have that many creatures. I actually think I'm going to take Overgrown Tomb because I saw a lot of fetch lands going around, so the possibility exists for us to hit some fetch lands here. Now, Disfigure's not bad removal, and Copperline Gorge is more red and green, which is a lot of what we have. I like Copperline Gorge. Clifftop Retreat's also not bad. If this was a Rootbound Crag, I would take it, but that's a different pack in this pack. So we're going to take Copperline Gorge for now. Okay, let's see. Find Finality is nice. We can recycle some creatures, or we have a board wipe that pumps a creature. And I feel like because we're focusing on rainbow mana with Planeswalkers, having the Find Finality is probably good. Okay, there's Rootbound Crag. I will take Rootbound Crag. Primal Command is actually castable. Gifts Ungiven's probably not bad either, but I will take Primal Command. Tristani Discordant makes lifelinking soldiers. We have no 2-drops yet. I'm going to take the Glorybound Initiate. It could help us stay alive because it can gain lifelink if we exert it. And a 2-mana 4/4 that attacks every other turn with lifelink is still pretty good. So I'm kind of excited about this deck. I am a little bit sad because we passed like a bunch of fetch lands that would have been great with Stomping Ground and Overgrown Tomb. We passed Wooded Foothills and Bloodstained Mire, which means we would be looking for like Verdant Catacombs to fix our mana. But at this point, any fetch land that grabs either of these cards is good. Deafening Clarion is fine. I'm really, really sad Niv Mizzet did not make it around. I'm actually super surprised about that too. That might change what I'm doing, depending on what we find here in the next couple of packs. So, as long as we have at least one basic of everything, Sakura Tribe Elder is great. Mountain, Plains, and Swamp is like 3 of our 4 colors, so I'm probably going to take the Tri-Land here. We have no blue currently, and we might have to keep it that way. Yeah, I'm going to take the Triome. Okay. Mana Leak is a really, really good card, except for the fact that we have no blue mana whatsoever yet. I think this is a Bloodbraid Elf deck. We're pretty heavy in green and red, and we have some pretty powerful cards in the 3-drop slot, as well as in the 2 and 1. So I think Bloodbraid's where we need to be. Looks like we're base red and green, and we're going to be splashing white and black. So, am I missing anything else important in this pack? Rabble's good, Vanifar's good, but we're probably not going to have enough creatures, and Stirring Wildwood is a card that I would play. Okay. Windswept Heath. Windswept Heath gets both Stomping Ground and Overgrown Tomb. It does not get Savai... No, it does get Savai Triome, so definitely Windswept Heath here. Courser of Crewfix wouldn't be bad. Lovestruck Beast's okay. Luris, Murderous Redcap. There's enough things in this pack that I'm definitely fine taking the fixing here. Nicol Bolas Dragon God. Well, it's a big, meaty planeswalker that synergizes with other planeswalkers. Triple black is going to be very hard, even with a good mana base, but we have 2 Chromatic Lantern effects, so I'm actually kind of fine taking this. In all likelihood, this is probably going to wheel, but somebody took Niv Mizzet and might be trying to do the 5-color thing, so I'm actually, I think, going to take this now. In reality, I should probably take Treasure Map or Noxious Gearhulk, as Treasure Map is better mana, and Noxious Gearhulk's an excellent 6-drop to be casting to help stabilize the board. We're going to take Nicol Bolas for the fun factor. Kroxa is kind of nice. Kroxa is something we can cascade into off of Bloodbraid Elf. Kinnan Bonder Prodigy is not bad with Chromatic Lantern effects or Mana Dorks, but I think Kroxa is where I want to be. Alright. In this pack we have Gilded Lotus, which is I think going to be my priority 1 pick here because it's rainbow mana fixing, it's quite excellent. There are 4 planeswalkers in this pack. All of them are pretty good. Maybe I shouldn't take Gilded Lotus because we're like... I think Liliana or Domri is actually technically better. Liliana is strong, Domri's strong, but we don't have enough creatures to make Domri great. I'm going to take Liliana instead of Gilded Lotus. That's probably a mistake. So if I end up paying for that, I'm sorry. This is not an Immortal Sun deck. We do not have enough creatures for Sword of War and Peace, not a Gearhulk deck. So we're basically down to Terminus, Brutality, and Sorin. I'm going to take Sorin. Ooh, another Sorin. I'm going to take Sorin. There's a board wipe in the form of Realm Cloaked Giant, which is probably the most fair thing we could take. But, Sorin it is. We do have blue for Nicol Bolas, so Creeping Tar Pit's not bad here. Basically any dual land is playable in this deck right now. We just picked up a ton of black mana symbols. This is probably a Quarantine Field deck. Gifted Aetherborn would be nice, but I don't know. We don't currently have enough black fixing, I think, to make that work. So Quarantine Field it is. Luris would be a card we would have to play in the main deck. Theoretically, recasting Kroxa for its front half every turn would be kind of funny. It is a life-linking creature. And the other cards in this pack are not as good for us. Crater's Claw would be strictly removal. I'm going to try taking Luris. I just think it might be fun. I may not end up playing it, but we'll see. Carry Zev's a little too aggro. Sphinx's Rev is a little too control, so Master the Wildhead I think is fine. Genesis Wave would be hilarious, but we do not have enough big mana for it. I'm still going to take it. I'm just going to put it in the sideboard. Koth, we have a mountain. So, sideboard Koth. And Flickerwisp could be fun. So pack 3, we're hoping for more good fixing, basically. Okay, so in this pack we have Marsh Flats, which can get Savai Triome, as well as Overgrown Tomb. There's an Avacyn's Pilgrim, which does filter from green to white, as well as accelerates our mana. I think I have to take the fetch land here. I'm sad to pass both Avacyn's Pilgrim and Temple Garden. Even though this isn't a great fetch for us, I think it's still going to be good enough. So we're going to take Marsh Flats. Liliana Dreadhorde General, Vivian Monster's Advocate, or Ugin the Spirit Dragon. I would love to play an Ugin, but I actually think in the average case we're not going to get to enough mana to do that. Liliana, a 6-mana Planeswalker, is probably about where we can top out, and Liliana Dreadhorde General is actually an insane Planeswalker most of the time, especially in a cube format. We'll take Liliana. There's our resident nightmare, Ashiok Nightmare Muse. I think I gotta go with that. I would not mind a Doomblade. If we could sneak one Wrath into this deck somehow, that'd be fantastic. I will take Ashiok here. Mana Confluence or Verdant Catacombs, we gotta go with the straight Rainbow land, I think. Verdant Catacombs is good, but Mana Confluence is just better. Fabled Passage, if we're running one of every basic, is actually really, really good. We do have a lot of red, and not a lot of ways to fetch red, but some decent red fixing. Scalding Tarn might be better because we could get Stomping Ground, Savai Triome. That's kind of tough. I think I'm going to go with Fabled Passage. Oh, actually, maybe I should be picking removal here. Or there's a Farseek. Oh, this pack is really, really tough. Farseek can grab a lot of things. I'm going to take Lightning Helix, and hopefully something in that pack that's fixing related will come around for us. We have absolutely no Wraths or Sweepers, so we probably want to go for Martial Coup or Pyroclasm. I love Garrick Apex Predator, but I feel like we're going to be kind of light on removal. I have no idea how many things Pyroclasm actually kills on average. There are a lot of X2s, but most creatures outgrow that pretty quickly. Red is one of our primary colors, and I guess white is pretty far up there as well, because we have a lot of double white. Some of which we're not playing, like probably Flicker Wisp. Martial Coup's a 7-mana board wipe. I think I gotta take Pyroclasm here. Okay, Blood Crypt is excellent. So is Gargaroth. I think I gotta take Blood Crypt, though, because we have a triple black card in this deck, as well as a number of double black cards. Yeah. Marsh Flat, it also helps power up Marsh Flat, so we will take Blood Crypt. Abrupt Decay is not bad. Black Cleave Cliffs. We do have a number of red cards, and like I said, black is pretty far up there. It's just not a fetchable duel. I'm going to take Black Cleave Cliffs, and hopefully it makes our mana just even slightly easier. Okay, Damnation. I did say we need board wipes, so I'm going to take Damnation. Vivian came around. I don't know if I can play a Vivian. She's really only good with creatures. Yeah, I think I'm going to take Timely Reinforcements to help keep us alive. Because we are almost certainly going to take damage from aggro early. Okay. Garrick Primal Hunter isn't bad. Everflowing Chalice is actually kind of terrible. I might have to take Doomblade just because we are a little bit light on removal still. Temporal Mastery in this deck would be insane if I knew I could get blue mana frequently. I'm going to take Lyra. Kaya's Guile is pretty excellent, especially after the Mardu Pox showing of it. I love Kaya's Guile. Heliod the Sun-Crowned versus Tide Hollow. I'll take Tide Hollow. And Sun Titan to the sideboard. I am really surprised that somebody, somewhere, took that Niv Mizzet. I mean, it was really early, so somebody could take it and then, you know, play the 5-color deck archetype, but like, alright. So probably not playing Kessig Wolf Run at all. Put all these in the sideboard for a moment. Group creatures separately and see what we have versus what we're playing. So probably not playing Flicker Wisp or Tide Hollow Sculler. Both of those cards are powerful. I just think in the average case they're probably not that good. So now that we have Damnation and we have Fine Finality, I'm actually not main decking Pyroclasm. I forgot we had Deafening Clarion, so I guess I was kind of worried over nothing. Primal Command's actually kind of bad. Lyra is definitely a sideboard card as well. How many Planeswalkers did we end up with this time, not counting the Koth? That'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Planeswalkers? We're nowhere near the record. I guess counting the Koth we would be 1 shy, but what do I want to cut? I think I have to cut Lurrus. We can bring him in versus aggro, but other than that, he's not fantastic. Suggested basic lands, one of each. Okay, hang on. Let me look at the mana base really quick here. Our primary colors are black and white, it looks like, from an initial scan. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 black sources. That's really not bad. How many white sources do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that right? Do we only have 5 white sources? Oh no. Hang on a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 white sources. Okay, how many red sources do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 9 red sources. I'm really worried about our white sources. I think we need one more white source somewhere. Even if I have to add a second basic plains. And I'm not counting any of the creatures or, lantern and stuff in the main. I'm just looking at the mana base, how we did. How many blue sources do we have? 1, 2, 3, and that's it. Okay. And then green, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You know what? We're going to try it as is. Save and continue. If we'd had Niv Mizzet in this deck, I'd feel so much better about it. But we don't. I would love to play first. Yeah, it's pretty rough. Mulligan. Okay, well, if we draw a land, we're, good to go. I'm going to keep this, and I'm going to put back Deafening Clarion. If my opponent has removal for this Noble Hierarch, we are probably boned. I might need to be running 17 lands. Alright, we untap. We draw Liliana. Oh no. I'm gonna leave up Lightning Helix. Bitter Blossom. I'm gonna Lightning Helix my opponent here. Play Glory-Bound Initiate. Pass the turn. We're not drawing lands. Oh no. And my opponent has the easiest mana in the world. Okay, Gifted Aetherborn. We untap. We draw a Rootbound Crag, which enters tapped. Okay. Play Rootbound Crag. Go to combat. Attack and exert. We'll get the Exalted trigger as well. So my opponent can block and gain life, but we gain life as well. We basically can't block with Glory-Bound Initiate anyway. Opponent plays a Phyrexian Obliterator? Oh no. And they have protection from Kaya's Guile as well. We draw Damnation, which is really our only hope at this point. We need another land, and we need Dryad to survive long enough to cast a Damnation. Because otherwise there's just no way we can beat an Obliterator. None at all. If my opponent plays something like Whip of Erebos and can show that they can get back Phyrexian Obliterator, we're just completely boned. So take the damage, because we really don't have a choice. Okay, Windswept Teeth is good. So play Windswept Teeth. How much risk is there if we attack first? Tons, actually. So I'm not going to crack Windswept Teeth, not yet. Just going to cast the Damnation. Okay, pass the turn. I want to see what we draw, because hopefully it's a land. Rankle. Rankle is a problem, actually. We can't block, they're going to make us discard. I think I discard Kaya's Guile. Opponent discards Liliana Heretical Healer. We draw Doomblade, which is the most useless card in this matchup right now. Alright, pass the turn. We're probably fetching our Triome. Opponent plays a Freebooter. Okay. I regret taking out Pyroclasm a bit. They take Gideon. They go to combat. They attack for 4. They don't make us discard. They got cards they want to hold on to. Geralf's Messenger. We'll get our Tri-Land. Untap. Alright. Let's make some slight adjustments for this matchup and hope to draw a better hand. So versus our opponent's deck, I do want Pyroclasm. Doomblade does nothing. Literal nothing here. And I think I want to cut... I don't think I want to cut anything, actually. I'm just going to run it back as is and just pray we draw more lands. Because that was our biggest issue. Like, colors were a little bit of a problem, but not like an end-of-the-world kind of problem. We'll play first. Okay, I can work with this. I'll keep. Opponent starts by mulliganing to 6. So, play Cliffs, pass the turn. As long as we draw lands, we're fine. Opponent starts Swamp, Inquisition. They can take Pyroclasm, Command, or Kroxa. Probably takes Kroxa, because that's our only good proactive play. Even though we want it in the grave, we can't really do anything with it for a while. They take Kolagon's Command. Okay. Not what I would have picked. Mana Confluence, so black, red, cast a Kroxa. Hopefully this doesn't help our opponent. Opponent discards a Swamp. We have to sack Kroxa. Opponent passes, land. Oh, no, not again. I should have brought in another land. Opponent plays a Liliana Heretical Healer. Draw Find Finality. Oh, we can find a Kroxa. Pass the turn. Opponent hits us for 2. Plays a Messenger. We untap, we draw Chromatic Lantern, which would be amazing if we could cast it. Pass the turn again. I think we're going to have to Clarion first. Alright, opponent attacks with Rankle. They're going to make us discard. I will discard Find Finality if that's the case. They discard Heartless Act. Oh, you know what? We're dead. I cast Deafening Clarion, we kill these two. This guy comes back as a 4/3 and drains us for 2, but I have to pay 1 to Mana Confluence to Deafening Clarion. And I can't Quarantine Field. Pyroclasm doesn't cut it. And, yep. Lame. So lame. Okay. I'm going to try dropping like a Find Finality. Doesn't want to suggest a basic land. I think I'm going to add a Plains. We're going to run 17 lands instead from here on out. Alright. Round 2. And already we have a better looking hand. I will keep. Opponent does start on a mulligan to 6. Blood Crypt tapped. We draw Kroxa. Play Savai Triome. So now we have Kroxa if our opponent doesn't play anything, and Lightning Helix if they do. I would Lightning Helix something like a Bob. Opponent Inquisitions. They can take Kroxa, Lightning Helix, or Kaya's Guile. If they're aggressive, they probably take Lightning Helix or Guile. If they're not aggressive, they probably take Kroxa. Yeah, they take Kroxa. It would appear that we are against some kind of Grixis control deck. Okay, play Copperline Gorge, pass the turn. Don't think we have any fetchable blue sources, which probably means I should be cutting blue and not playing it in the first place, but it plays a Mountain and a Jace, Vryn's Prodigy. I am going to Helix Jace. We untap. We draw a Johnny Vengeant. Play a Plains, pass the turn, leave up Kaya's Guile. I'm going to make a Spirit and gain life. Okay. We untap and draw Doomblade. So, play Plains, go to combat, attack for 1. Still nothing out of our opponent. Okay, cast a Johnny. Tick up on Blood Crypt, just in case they do anything at our end step. They do not. We untap. We draw Deafening Clarion. Play Marsh Flats. Go to combat. Attack for 1. Tick up on Blood Crypt again. Crack Marsh Flats. Let's get an Overgrown Tomb. Pass the turn. I guess I technically should have gotten a Blood Crypt. But right now, a red or a black will allow us to get to Kroxa. Okay, so opponent plays an Atris, Oracle of Half-Truths. You can have Land Narset, or you can have Temporal Mastery. Okay, opponent takes Land Narset. I could have put land versus 2 unknowns, because I knew they were hurting for land. Okay, we draw Forest. Not the land we want. I'm kind of torn between down-ticking Ajani here to kill Atris and just casting Deafening Clarion. And I think I'm going to cast Deafening Clarion because if I actually ult Ajani, I think it's game over. So attack our opponent for 1. So we know they're holding Narset. I could uptick on an island to prevent them from untapping with it and casting Narset, but we don't exactly draw extra cards. I guess we should deny the play we know. 3 damage to each creature. Play a Forest. Pass the turn. Leave up Doomblade. Okay, opponent plays another island that they just drew. They play Rahl. Is it Viceroy? Okay. Well, he can't hit Planeswalkers. They get a redraw here, putting a Triome into the grave. Okay. So we have no Doomblade targets. We untap and we draw Kolaghan's Command. Uptick on Blood Crypt. Pass the turn, leave up Command and Doomblade. Opponent activates Rahl. Discards Monastery Mentor. Okay. Plays a land. They must have like a Sublime Epiphany. They're not playing anything. They're going to kick a Burst Lightning to deal damage to Ajani. Well, we can't stop them from doing anything like that. So, 4 damage to Ajani. Alright, let's make our opponent discard and then hit Rahl. Just to keep him away from ultimate for a while. Opponent discards Narset. We untap. Draw Quarantine Field. We can't cast Kroxa. We only have double red or double black, but not both. So I think we prevent Blood Crypt from untapping. And hit them with the Quarantine Field for 1. Exiling Rahl. Opponent has Pact of Negation. Alright. So they're paying 5 on their upkeep. They take up Rahl, putting a Tarn into the grave. They play a Swamp. Collective Brutality, they're going to duress away our Doomblade. Alright. Blue mana, red mana, or black mana, please. That also technically might work. Do we have any other creatures to get back other than Kroxa? Probably not. So, prevent Blood Crypt from untapping. Play Liliana. Uptick. Pass the turn. Opponent takes up Rahl. Milling a Drowned Catacomb. Opponent plays a 4 mana Teferi, Master of Time. Loots away an island. I wonder if my opponent has Thassa's Oracle. We draw a Swamp. So we'll go ahead and tick up on Blood Crypt. Tick up Liliana. Play a Swamp. Cast Kroxa. Doesn't really matter what we exile out of our grave. Okay, opponent has to discard. Even if they alt Ral, as long as we can... opponent discards Heartless Act. Interesting, they must have a different answer to Kroxa. If they alt Ral and we alt a Johnny, I'm pretty sure the fact that they won't be able to cast enough spells through an Armageddon is probably good enough, especially because they're discarding so many lands. I suspect they have Thassa's Oracle, though, which is why they're fine going this deep into their deck. Okay, opponent plays a Fact or Fiction. They have an Is It Charm. I guess Click is the biggest problem. You can have Watery Grave Click, or you can have Thing in the Ice Is It Charmed Chapel. Okay, we gave them the smaller pile, so that's what matters. Okay, they take up Ral to 8. Put an island in the grave. They go looting. Yeah, they have to have Thassa's Oracle in hand. If they do and they play it, they just win because they definitely have enough blue devotion. I'm pretty sure it's in this cube. Yep, that's fun. That's fun to play against. But okay. Alright. So how do we adjust for this? Opponent is playing Grixis Control. We're playing 5-color control. We could bring in, like, Flicker Wisp or Primal Command to, like, try and slow our opponent down somehow, but I think we just run it back. I would love to play first. I could probably make this work. So we'll keep. Start Overgrown Tomb tapped. Pass the turn. Probably going to curve Glorybound Initiate into one of our 2 command style spells here, and then an Ajani Vengeant. When it starts Blood Crypt tapped. Draw Bloodbraid Elf. Play Glorybound Initiate. Pass the turn. I would not mind casting a Bloodbraid Elf on curve. We have a lot of good hits for it. When it plays a Drowned Catacomb and passes, we draw an island. Play Copperline Gorge. Go to combat. Attack and exert. Okay, pass turn, leave up command and guile. Opponent plays a swamp. Pass this turn. Let's go ahead and make them discard and deal 2 damage to them. They discard Temporal Mastery. We untap. Draw Blood Crypt. Play an island. Play Bloodbraid Elf. If they had tapped out for something that we could have Kolaghan's commanded, I think we would have gone the Ajani route this game. Cast Chromatic Lantern, which is a big help. It means we can cast all of our spells for as long as it stays alive. Okay, opponent Is It Charms down our Bloodbraid Elf and untaps. They play a swamp. Pass the turn. We draw Creeping Tar Pit. So, go to combat. They don't have double blue. I think we're just going to attack. We're not going to exert. We have Guile if anything goes supremely wrong. Okay, opponent takes 3, goes to 11. Play Creeping Tar Pit, and we're going to leave up Guile. They play a Black Cleave Cliffs tapped. So we're going to make a Spirit and gain 4. That helps protect us from an Edict, at least. We untap, we draw Timely Reinforcements, which is probably the most useful card, or useless card right now that exists. Animate Tar Pit. Go to combat. Attack with everybody. Opponent concedes. Nice. Get there by aggroing them out. I wonder if that means we should be playing things like Tide Hollow Skeller or Luris. That might be better over like our 8-mana Planeswalkers and stuff, or 6-mana Planeswalkers. I'm just going to run it back though. I don't think I really have any adjustments to make. Mana Confluence Noble Hierarch is tempting, but we basically can't cast anything else in our hand, so we got a mulligan for more lands. This is quite a bit better. This I will keep. It's kind of predicated on Chromatic Lantern resolving. I think I gotta put back Liliana for now. Opponent starts Scalding Tarn and passes. We draw Kaya's Guile. So Stomping Ground tapped, pass the turn. Opponent fetches up a Triome, tapped. Plays an island. They play Jace, Vryn's Prodigy. We draw Copperline Gorge. Too bad that wasn't the Lightning Helix. I think Lightning Helix would have been our best possible top deck there. Okay, opponent loots with Jace immediately, which means they're probably looking for a land. Unless they discard a land, in which case they're looking for something they can play. They discard Click. Play an island. And a Monastery Mentor. We draw Kroxa. This might be the only time that Kaya's Guile is good. I think even remotely. Oh, we can't even cast it. Never mind. Herp derp. So we're going to have to do the old Johnny Vengeant downtick on Mentor to actually kill him. And if my opponent has real counterspells in their deck, well, this game is over. Oh no! Miracle Temporal Mastery, blind Miracle Temporal Mastery after playing a Mentor is probably one of the best things you could do. Especially after your opponent tapped out for a Mana Rock. Oh no. So we need like Damnation off the top to stay in this game. I guess technically our damage dealing wraths, like opponent discards a Heartless Act, like Deafening Clarion could work. I did not bring in Pyroclasm. Oh Jesus. Okay. They loot with Jace, which means they're not gonna flip Jace this turn. Discarding a Burst Lightning. Why would you discard a Burst Lightning? Unless you're casting a Planeswalker. Okay. Teferi, Master of Time is reasonable. I still wouldn't have discarded the Burst Lightning unless I had a Lightning Bolt here. Because, like, that Triome can cast that Burst Lightning. I don't know what's left in my opponent's hand. Okay, really hoping we have Damnation off the top. Or Deafening Clarion. Either would be fine. Ashiok Nightmare Muse is not really what I wanted to see. So we'll play an island. We really only have one play here, and it's not great compared to what our opponent just did to us. So we'll play a Johnny Vengeant. We'll turn that rushing river of damage into a mere flowing creek of damage. Gain a little bit of life back. But it loots on our turn, because there's nothing else they're doing with that. They discard Gadwick the Wizened. They draw and discard Collective Brutality. Okay, they loot with Jace to flip Jace. They discard Noxious Gearhulk. Oh my god, what do you have? Okay, Liliana Dreadhorde General's pretty good. Especially considering we have no direct Planeswalker removal, and she starts with an incredibly high loyalty. So our opponent is just doing what we wanted to do, but better. Okay, they kill a Johnny, they attack us for 2, we don't have a planar cleansing of any kind. We can make them get rid of their last card in hand, but they have several Planeswalkers that are going to ult. If I could play Kroxa into Ashiok, I can, at the very minimum, get rid of one of their Planeswalkers. But that implies we draw, like, a land next turn. Does it? Shoot. Can't even make them sack without, drawing a card because of stupid Liliana. Play Sorin. I think my only hope here is to make a, not really a blocker, but some kind of creature so that we can prevent at least one of the Planeswalkers from ultimating really quickly here. But it loots with Teferi. Discards Mass Manipulation? And I think the only reason they discard Mass Manipulation is because they can't currently cast it. If they could, it would be game over on the spot. But it loots away an Inquisition. When it plays an Atris. You can have Teferi, or you can have the 2 unknowns. They take the Teferi. Okay, they shrink the vampire. They make a zombie. It is technically possible that we, like, mill our opponent out by killing all of their creatures. That's not very likely either, though. So, Sorin dies. Draw Rootbound Crag. So play Rootbound Crag. Black, red, play Kroxa. Opponent loots with Teferi. They discard a black Cleave Cliffs. Kroxa makes them discard. They discard an Is It Charm. So blue, black, black, anything, anything. Play Ashiok. Yeah, we have to bounce Teferi. And then we have to draw Wrath to even stand a chance. And the problem is Liliana is going to ultimate, and that's going to be probably the game. But we have to stop them from time stretching immediately. Actually, it'd be worse than time stretch, because they would time stretch on our turn, and then they would take 3 turns in a row, and that would be the game. Just by attacking alone. Which I think is ridiculous. But once again, our opponent is doing better things than we are with less colors of mana, which probably means they're a better deck. The old pack 1, pick 1, Chromatic Lantern, Mana Greed. Okay, opponent shrinks the vampire, kills Ashiok, attacks us for 8. So no blocks. We need to draw a sweeper. We have exactly this draw to do it, too. That is not a sweeper. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and just entwine this because we can. Ugh. So if we'd drawn a Wrath, our opponent would have drawn 6 cards. They would have had 6 cards left in their deck. And all of their... They could have killed us. Who am I kidding? I'm just... At this point, anything else is just pretending, I think. But hey, we get a Spirit. And now our opponent just ults Liliana, and it's going to be game over. So, we'll concede. Alright, I'm going to restart the client for match 3, because it's pretty abysmal at this point. Alrighty, here we go, round 3. Kind of want to keep this off of mana alone. I think I'm going to try it just to see how this deck works. Theoretically, we draw non-land cards, right? Alright, that's a non-land card. Play Noble Hierarch. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Mountain. Draw Stomping Ground, so go to combat. Attack for 1. Opponent takes 1, and we'll play Savai Triome. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Mountain. We draw Overgrown Tomb. So... Shock Blood Crypt. White, white. Black, green. Play Gideon. Make a knight. Pass the turn. Okay, opponent plays a Triome. Passes, we draw Windswept Heath. Play Creeping Tar Pit. Go to combat. Attack for 3. Make a knight. Pass the turn. 5 mana. Terror of the Peaks. Alright. Draw Mountain. No fetchable blue sources, unfortunately. Animate Gideon. Go to combat. Attack like this. I will Wrath away my own tokens if they block 1. Okay, opponent takes 9 and goes to 7. So we'll play... I think we're holding all of our shocks. I guess we'll play a Windswept Heath and just like fetch a basic Plains. Oh no, that's so brutal. Oh jeez, so they just like kill Gideon outright. Then they kill our tokens by their tokens entering the battlefield. Oh man, it's a massacre. I knew we were playing too greedy. Our opponent just played a 5-drop and a 6-drop and just basically won the game on the spot. Damnation or bust? Hey, no growling. You have nothing to growl at. Get a Plains. Untap. You know, this entire league, We've drawn effectively nothing. Oh, it makes me so angry because it's like there's so many games we're stuck on just like 1 mana, 1 mana, 1 mana, 1 mana and a Noble Hierarch, 2 mana and a Noble Hierarch, and it's like, come on! I'm gonna bring in Lyra. I'm gonna bring in Lyra over, I think, Master of the Wild Hunt. Try it like this. Like, so frequently we were stuck on mana, and I was like, okay, well then let's just keep a hand that's all mana. The deck's like, nope, you're only gonna draw lands. You're gonna draw Gideon and nothing else. Salty. Alright, I'd love to play first. Well, we could play Kroxa. We have a mana confluence, so we'll keep. Start Savai Triome, pass the turn. Opponent plays their own Savai Triome. Draw Lightning Helix. Play Kroxa. Okay, opponent discards Domri. Plays a Forest. We draw Overgrown Tomb. Okay, play Overgrown Tomb tapped. Pass the turn. Leave up Lightning Helix. Okay, they cast a Kodama's Reach. Getting 2 swamps. I wonder if we can get the quick ult on Sorin here. If we can, we're in an amazing place. The risk is they play like a haste creature or have direct damage. But if they don't have those things, we're probably fine. Okay, Terror of the Peaks. I'm not above... Ooh, actually, that's a lot better. Take up Terror of the Peaks again. Play Mana Confluence. Black. Play Liliana. Uptick on Terror. Red, white, kill Terror. Lightning Helix gains back the life we paid. Timely Reinforcements, now online. And if we untap with this Sorin, we put our opponent into an uncounterable, unanswerable abyss. Chromatic Lantern. Opponent plays a Nissa. They did play a Swamp this turn. We untap and draw Sorin, Grim Nemesis. Well, alt this Sorin. Opponent is in the abyss. Uptick on Nissa. And we'll play a Timely Reinforcements. Gain 6 life, get 3 dudes. Literal optimum scenario. Okay, enjoy the Abyss, opponent. I hear it's nice this time of year. For those of you that don't know, Abyss was the black enchantment from early in Magic's history that said basically this. It was, I think at the beginning of their upkeep, they destroyed a non-artifact, non-black creature they controlled. Something to that effect. Hang on, I can actually tell you. It was a 4 mana. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, destroy target non-artifact creature that player controls of their choice. It can't be. Ugin the Spirit Dragon. Now, if we draw a land, we completely countered that Ugin. They can -3 to exile the board. But if we draw a land, we can -4 Sorin Grim Nemesis to kill Ugin. This works too. Almost. Black, 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 red, we're missing a blue. Alright, pass the turn. So Sorin Grim Nemesis we could lose all of his loyalty to answer Ugin. But another black source lets us cast Nicol Bolas. Another black or blue source, I should say. Allows us to cast Nicol Bolas. Opponent Rampant Growths. Opponent plays a Xenagos, the Reveler. We draw Liliana Dreadhorde General, who also doesn't do anything. Because we can't play her yet. Come on, blue or black source. We have so many in the deck. Okay, opponent shoots us again with Ugin. Makes a Satyr. Plays a land. Pia and Kieran. Well, we can sweep the board. And our opponent can't ult Ugin next turn, but they can the turn after. Okay, that's a mountain. It doesn't let us cast Nicol Bolas, but we can Deafening Clarion. My opponent can sack both of the Thopters if we do that. I don't think that matters. Okay. Okay. Opponent shocks us with Mom and Pop, and they're going to do it again. We're now where we can delay we can delay Ugin from alting. Opponent makes a Satyr. Pluses Ugin to 10, bolts us. Grave Titan. That is a problem. Hits us for 2 down to 8. Can we do anything about this? I don't think Kolaghan's command matters. Our options are playing Liliana or Sorin. Sorin, we can kill Grave Titan, or we can stop Ugin from alting. Yeah, we gotta kill Grave Titan. In the end, it was our mana that did it. We had a blue source for this Nicol Bolas, we'd have won. This is just a very fancy gain 5 life and kill a 6/6. And I say gain 5 life because we had to pay a life to Mana Confluence. I mean, I guess I could unearth Kroxa next turn, but my opponent is alting Ugin, presumably. I mean, I would. They bolt us with Ugin, okay? That does give us an opportunity to down-tick Nicol Bolas to kill him, though that may not matter. No, that doesn't matter. Oof. Ajani Vengeant can kill a token, we'll go up to 7, they'll sack a token, they'll make a token, and then they'll hit us for 7. If we had one more mana, we could Ajani and Kolaghan's Command, which would do something. I can play Kroxa, that doesn't do anything. Sad days. Ugh. I mean, we got super greedy. Super greedy drafting this deck, I'm not gonna lie. But that's the kind of greed that you get when you pick a Chromatic Lantern and a Dryad of the Elysian Grove early, as well as a lot of fixing, because like we had a ton of fixing. I think I made a few suboptimal picks early on. I really, really wish that Niv Mizzet had come around, though the way things went, I don't think we actually could have cast it. I don't think Dryad would have wheeled, but having a City of Brass probably would have helped a ton. That was a really tough pick. And on top of all of that, on top of us building a suboptimal deck, we also got unlucky. But primary concern is we built a bad deck. So, well, you gotta have fun occasionally, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. So if you did, leave a like, drop a comment, and subscribe to the channel if you're so inclined. You can also follow me on Twitch, same username over there as you find me on here. I stream Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, usually for about 3 or 4 hours. And yeah, hope to see you guys there, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!